springtime in Paris and shoppers are out in force along the Champs-Élysées, probably unaware that Europe may be losing the battle against climate change and that the political will needed to win it may be waning. Only 1 in 2 French people are expected to turn out and vote for the EU parliamentary elections on June the 9th, despite forecast gains for the climate skeptic far right. Should we be worried that a party that wants to scale back and even halt EU climate action is set to become France's largest, and that outcome may be mirrored in other member states?
It's definitely a worrying trend given the percentage at the moment they're polling.
According to a poll in late April, the far-right Rassemblement National party should take at least 31.1% of the French vote, while President Emmanuel Macron's Renaissance party will be lucky to reach 17.5%.
They definitely have been vocal regarding the Green Deal, trying to backpedal on what has been done in the past 5 years.
The EC has adopted a series of proposals aimed at reducing net greenhouse gas emissions by at least 55% by 2030 compared to 1990 levels.
So yes, indeed, the polls show that there's a turning right or far right in the parliament. Still, how the European Parliament works, it's with alliances. And it's not a given that the far right will be able to create the needed alliances. They cannot just say, okay, we want to get rid of the Green Deal. And what is, I think, most at risk is the non-implementation. They could just decide not to put the necessary efforts to put in place the Green Deal. That's, I think, for me, the biggest risk.
The swing to the right in Europe could also impact French President Emmanuel Macron's climate ambitions.
As Macron has always been pictured as a European leader, losing the European election by such a high margin would actually be very disappointing for him. And it could actually turn out to have him being less ambitious when it comes to climate legislation, given the fact that the far right is managing to capitalize on anti-ecologic measures.
Indeed, Emmanuel Macron's recent decision to launch a new nuclear program, the first in over 30 years, illustrates how the lurch to the right has already shaped French energy policy.
One of the impact was the decision to build new nuclear plants. It was a Belfort speech from Macron. The political will is here now. And I think one of the biggest political impact is for France to recall now that every country is in charge of his own energy mix as long as it comply with the climate objectives.
But as politicians tussle over green policy and whatever the outcome of the EU elections, the reality of climate change could not be starker.
The impact of a 5-degree general increase of the global temperature results in global chaos and results also in a reduction of the world's population from 9 billion today to 1 billion. The impact is so huge that it needs to be absolutely calculated. And I believe that whether it's the far right or the center or the left, everybody's aware of this and needs to tackle this issue.